Hey there, and welcome back. It's been a while. If you guys are new, please consider subscribing. We would love to have you in our community here on our channel. So we've had kind of a crazy couple of months and I just haven't got any videos out. But I wanted to give you guys a quick tour of our garden this year. My sister and I are actually going to be pickling some beets in a couple days, and so I wanted to go ahead and give you guys a tour before I pull all those out. So we just had kind of some craziness and I never did get to start any of my plants this year, which is okay. There's a few local gardening stores that we prefer to buy our starts and seeds and things at, that we like to support those small businesses, so it's okay. We just gave them a little bit more support this year than I was planning on. But I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys a tour of what we've got going on this year. It's all about garden today, and let's get started. So down this side of the house, we've got a little bed here that I plant my cherry tomatoes in. And I like to do that because then the kids can come out and pick as many tomatoes as they like as snacks whenever they would like. And we did get our garden in late just because of, as I said, we had some craziness. So we got everything in a little late. So we don't have any cherry tomatoes that are quite ripe yet. The closest ones we have are these here that are just barely starting to blush, and those are some black cherry tomatoes. But they are growing well, and they have a lot of the little green tomatoes on them, so they should be coming colorful here pretty quick. I've got a few eggplants. This is my first year growing eggplants, and they've done pretty well. I have a few here that are coming along really well. There's a couple big ones back there that we're probably going to eat this week. And then I do have 2 zucchinis that I planted up here. And again, this is just kind of a kitchen garden because we eat zucchinis a lot in the summer because they're so prolific. And so it's nice to have it just right out here. I can come and grab them. Back here, I did get my squash garden planted, or pumpkin garden, whatever you'd like to call it, this year, which I'm excited about because last year I did not get that done. I've actually got some melons and some kind of more decorative stuff over here, and then we do have a bunch of varieties of pumpkin and squash in here. I'd have to look at my sheet, but I know we've got like some delicata and kind of more fun and eat fresher squash, not winter squash, over on this side. And then it rolls over into, I do have a few Halloween pumpkins, and I have butternut squash, some acorn squash, and then and that's you can see it trailing off over here and coming out over here. And those are my butternut squashes usually trail pretty well. And then, as I said, I planted some pumpkins for Halloween for the kids. As you can see, my pumpkins and squash are doing really well. I do have some sugar pie pumpkins in here as well that I'm hoping to can up, as well as some of my butternut squash to use in the fall and the winter. Now, I don't know if you'll remember, but I did plant some garlic with you guys. Some of it's ready to go. Some of it has been eaten by the grasshoppers and didn't do well. These 2 buckets didn't do very good. I did transfer 1 pumpkin. It's a decorative pumpkin over in here. And I've got some garlic that is ready to come out here. And this was the one that did the best right here. And I will put the variety up in the tops of the screen here. But we've got some good ones, some good heads that came out here. As you can see, this is a really nice head. And then we've got some more in there as well. But this pot did the best. And then in my other pots, I've still got my strawberries that are back for their 2nd year over here. I planted some decorative pumpkins in here. We've got Cherokee Trail of Tears in this pot coming up. And then this side was supposed to be the same Trail of Tears, but the mice really got my beans in these buckets this year, and I've only got a couple that have survived, and they're just barely coming back. So I planted some chives and onions in here. And then over here, these 2 buckets originally were both this Blue Lake pole bean, but again, the mice really liked those, and none of them survived. So we've got some onions just to cut for chives over there. And then these are my Blue Lake pole, and they're they're doing pretty well. You can actually see we've got lots of flowers and a few beans coming on. So we actually will probably get to have some beans here, and if not this week, then next week pick some fresh beans for dinner. And then in my railroad garden, which I just call that because it's got railroad ties all around, we've got onions. I had radishes, but then I replanted some beets and they didn't germinate very well. We had some wind that knocked the hoses off. I think they got a little dried out. So I'm going to replant that because I do want to do a few batches of beets this year. We love them, and they are a quick side dish when you have pickled beets. I am trying out this weed fabric this year because we have a ton of this crap here that just strangles everything, and it's been working really well. Usually by this time of the year I have got weeds out my ears. So this is actually working pretty well for me. And again, as I said, the beets really loved my Blue Lake beans this year. This is a Blue Lake bush bean section, and they really ate quite a few of those as well. But I do have some beans and flowers coming on from there. And then I had a section of beets which are ready to be pulled and canned in a couple of days. As you can see, they grew really well, but they are definitely ready to come out. And then I planted some of my Jacob's cattle over in this area, and mice didn't like them as well, so I only lost a couple plants down here at the end to the mice. But they actually have quite a few beans on them, but they are a dry bean, so you let them go and then you shell them later. And then back here in my, I call it the corn garden because that's where I plant my corn, as you can see, but we'll go over there in a second. I planted a couple of big sunflowers. I don't know if they're going to quite make it because, as I said, my garden got started late, so we decided to plant them and give them a shot. We'll see how it goes. And then I've got all my big tomatoes back here along this one here. I've got some what's called Early Girl, and I did get my Amish paste tomatoes, and then I also have some Mortgage Lifter that are some nice big just slicing tomatoes. And then along this little thing here I have peas, and they are coming along, and as I said, they're a little late, so they're a little slow growing. And then here I have some runner beans just for the beautiful flowers and the pollination, just out here for the pollinators. It's just so pretty. I'm gonna plant more of it next year, but as I said, we were kind of late, so I was trying to just get everything in. Got some cucumbers here, again with the beans or the peas in the front. Some marigolds, some more peas. Then down all this side I've got 2 rows of corn. We'll come out and make sure they get pollinated by hand, but there's a few of them, and it's pretty windy, so they should do okay, but we'll have to wait and see. But we got some pretty good germination in the corn this year. Last year was not great. And then again, you can see my tomatoes on that trellis. And I just wanted to give you an up close look at these beautiful flowers that these runner beans do. They are just so pretty. And this seed I did get from Baker Creek, but they're just so beautiful and vibrant, and it's fun to be able to look out the window and see that pop of red. They're just so pretty. All right, and here is my dark green stalk, and as you can tell, or maybe not, but this is carrots. I'm trying carrots in it. They're not a huge carrot, so they'll be okay in this size container. Got a couple that germinated pretty well, but I also replanted in here some beets, because again, I want to do lots of pickled beets. We did them last year to have extras rather than just in salads as side dishes, and it was fantastic. And this one is my light green one that is, as you can see, lettuce. And it's gotten to be where we're actually going to have some lettuces to do this week for dinners, which will be great because they are so delicious. That's all I have planned this year. If you haven't, please consider subscribing to the channel, and we will see you next time.